Just clap when you're ready.
You ready, Osa?
Okay, do you want to add?
Add what?
An ad read?
Oh, do an ad read? Yeah, we can do an ad read like halfway through the draft. Like after the 7th round, 8th round, after the 8th round.
I gotta find him. I don't know where the hell I see.
Actually, you know what? 7th, because the last 2 rounds we won't care about because defense kicker.
Yeah, who cares?
Wait, which one did we do last time? Eckler or McCaffrey?
We did an Eckler one. I don't think we've ever done a McCaffrey one.
Okay.
No, the only one we did was Eckler. With Eckler.
Yes. Okay.
Oh gosh.
All
Yeah,
right.
in 2019, Eckler was running back 6th. That's why he was so high in 20.
Jay, if you want to download that, I think it's a single person one anyway.
Download what?
Bro, what is with our internet?
Girl, what's up, Dalvin?
All right.
Bro, my Skype is spazzing out.
No.
Yeah, the other screen popped off.
There we go. I think we're good.
Okay.
Are we? All I can see is Gary's face. I can't see the screen.
I see the screen.
Okay,
No,
you
yeah,
see
we
it?
can see the screen. Yeah.
All right, all right. Everything else is set?
Yeah.
Welcome in to the Old Fashioned Fantasy Football Podcast. This is your host, James Moran. Thanks for saying something. That's my co-host, Gary Vitrone, there with the pink background. We're going to do a good old-fashioned fantasy football mock draft. 12 people, half PPR.
First of the year, baby. Let's go.
First of the year filmed, anyways. You've got to do mocks. You have to do mocks. Don't care who you are. Mock all day, all night. Figure out where people are going, who you like, where they go, who do you feel most comfortable with in which round. This is a big deal. We're doing this on the Sleeper app. They just followed us on Twitter. Sorry, I'm so pumped about that.
That is pretty cool. Good job, social media team.
Yes, you are welcome. All right. Thank you also to Brant, our producer, who helped us put all this together. Gary and I know data, but not the technology that this requires. All right. We're going to go ahead and start this draft, Gary.
Let's do it, man. Where are we picking?
We are picking at number 4. And so it went Saquon, McCaffrey, Derrick Henry, and then to us. So now we're sitting here at the 4th pick. I really would have loved if Derrick Henry fell to us, but he didn't. So the next 2 on the board for running backs, Dalvin Cook, Alvin Kamara. Top wide receivers available: Devontae Adams, Tyreek Hill. We have all the options there.
Yep.
But both of us are. I think we know we're going to go running back here.
Yeah,
the top
not
of the
even
running
a
backs just
thought
make
in my
that much
mind.
of a difference. Yeah, absolutely.
Exactly. It's definitely a running back at this point. Those top 5, 6 guys can't pass them up. I'm personally leaning towards Kamara over Dalvin. I mean, last year you saw just freakish ability as per usual for Kamara. He had that championship game where he had 4 touchdowns or something. I personally think that's my guy, but what are you thinking?
I'm thinking Kamara too. Because even though Drew Brees is gone from there, Kamara did well in the games where Drew Brees didn't play last year.
Yep.
Sean Payton is a great offensive-minded coach. He's a great offensive-minded coach. He's one of the best. I know he's going to find a way to use the talented guys he has. The top of that list is Alvin Kamara.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm perfectly happy doing that. Yeah, easy pick for us. Let Dalvin Cook go team 5. 6 win Zeke. Devontae Adams, first wide receiver off the board. Nick Chubb, Jonathan Taylor, Tyreek Hill, Hopkins, Kelsey. Now we're coming around. A.J. Brown, Aaron Jones, Stephon Diggs, Eckler, Cam Akers, Metcalf, Jefferson, Mixon, and then to us. Now we've made this mock draft with time to spare. So let's talk a little bit about these picks that went. I've got no problem taking Kelsey at the end of the first. If you've got that 12th pick, taking Kelsey, I don't hate that. but I certainly would not go Kelsey, A.J. Brown. I want one of those running backs.
You got to get a running back that early. Yeah, man.
Yeah, definitely. Like with Austin Eckler still on the board, Aaron Jones still on the board, I would take. Ooh. I mean, obviously, we really still don't know about Aaron Rodgers, but assuming Aaron Rodgers is still there, I would take Aaron Jones. Assuming he's not, I would take Austin Eckler, even though we've talked about it before, and we'll talk about it later, I'm sure, on this podcast and other episodes. We like AJ Brown a lot.
No, I love AJ Brown.
Yeah, a lot of people are gone from that team. This is going to be his third year in that system. Corey Davis has gone from that team. Jonnu Smith has gone from that team. That's a lot of targets.
It's a lot of targets. Whew.
Some of that I think is probably going to go to Derrick Henry and to his backup. They went and got a backup in the draft 2 years ago that I do believe is pretty good at catching the ball. I think he's actually underrated for when you look at his catching abilities. And because of the 17-week season, I expect that you'll see him more. That's the thing. Only 2 top 20 running backs made it the whole 16 games.
Yep.
17 games, you have to assume backups are going to get more involved, or these guys aren't going to last most of the time.
I think wasn't it 2 the whole year? Because one of them was Nyheim Hines.
I did say 2, didn't I? What did I say?
What? No, I'm asking, was it 2 in the top 20 or was it just 2?
2 in the top 20. Nyheim Hines was the top 20.
Oh, he was? Really?
That pass catching ability, baby.
Yeah. And Mac going down, of course, helped Taylor, and then obviously, Hines. Yeah, that's the other nice thing about doing a mock draft, too, is you get, like, if I'm Team 12, I can look at this and I can see, like, all right, there might not be any running backs left. Maybe there's some value guys that'll stick around, and, the team will look solid with Kelsey first. I mean, advantage every week at the tight end position, but it's the benefit of doing all the mock drafts. You get to see what your team looks like, and then you just kind of have that conversation. Do I like my team? If you don't, you need to change your strategy up. But I'm interested to see actually how Team 12 turns out as well.
I am too. By the way, the running back I was talking about, the backup for Derrick Henry, is Darrynton Evans.
Darrynton Evans, that's right.
There was a little bit of a pause there from me, but I did find it. And I like Darrynton Evans. He works well with the type of running that they like to do in Tennessee, but he'll have a little bit more pass catching ability as well. So just because we know not all wide receiver targets immediately go to other wide receivers, they can go to other skilled positions. I don't think their new tight end there. I think he'll be looked at by teams, but he's no Jonnu Smith. He's not as good as they have.
No way.
Team 5, Dalvin Cook, Joe Mixon. I love the opportunity there to be really successful. 6, Ezekiel Elliott, Justin Jefferson. I would like a little more upside, quite frankly, for running backs there. I don't know if I would have gone Justin Jefferson that early. I like Justin Jefferson. I'm just not sure if I like that combo.
Yeah, I don't know if I love that either.
Devontae Adams and DK Metcalf. Again, you and I know we want to get running backs.
All about those running backs, man. Yeah.
Even though both of those guys think great things. Chubb Akers, I like that combo a lot. Jonathan Taylor, Austin Eckler, I like that a lot.
That could be scary.
Definitely. That could definitely be scary. Marlon Mack is back, but he's trying to come back from that injury. And the amount of draft capital that's in on Jonathan Taylor compared to Marlon Mack, who was another one-year deal, Jonathan Taylor's going to have that job. Marlon Mack's going to be an afterthought. We'll see if that makes a big difference to him, that little bit of a committee there between Marlon Mack and Nyheim Hines, along with Jonathan Taylor. But I love Austin Eckler there as your second running back to Jonathan Taylor. So you've really got a strong one, too, there. Team 10, just like we talked about, Tyreek Hill, Stephon Diggs. Whew. I love that combo.
Man,
tell
that's
me what
dirty.
You think. Yeah, I love that combo more.
Yeah, in my rankings, that's 2 of the top 3 wide receivers that you've got plugged in there each week. So it's going to be a difficult team to beat at the wide receiver position. We'll see what it looks like at with running back depth when we get there. But
definitely.
I mean, it's hard to be disappointed with Tyreek and Stephon Diggs. That's pretty dirty.
No, I definitely agree with you there. At 310, I think I'd be hoping Najee Harris came around. I want someone who I know just has the volume.
Yeah, I mean, you're probably going to see his ADP keep going even higher. He'll probably last to at least the mid third.
He'll go to
this go round, maybe the end even. But by the start of the season, there's no way he's staying that late.
No, I agree.
There's going to be a lot of hype.
The other guy I would probably look around for 3-10, 4-3 from them, Chris Carson.
Oh yeah, totally.
Guy again. If I went Hill Diggs, which I think we both agree, that's the best of the guys who went wide receiver between Adams, Metcalf, or Hill Diggs. Both of us would take Hill Diggs. Even assuming Aaron Rodgers, like if we knew for sure Aaron Rodgers going to be there, they give him the extension tomorrow with all the money, so he's happy as can be. I would still prefer Hill Diggs to Adams, Metcalf. Chris Carson would be someone I would look at there. Just again, you'd want the consistency there because you're going to get all the hype. You're going to get all the extra points that you need from those two. So what a lovely shot here, Gary.
Sorry, I've got my computer over here. I was just looking at some stats.
Oh, you're fine.
But hey, filter. Do me a favor, filter. You're on running back. Filter for everybody. Let's see who's available with our second or all flex, and let's see who's available. Because at this point, I'm open to taking any position. I'm not just looking at the running back. If there's a wide receiver that we think is valuable here, I'll grab him. There's no other tight ends that I would want with my second pick.
Yeah, I was about to say.
It would have been a miracle if Kelsey had come around, but it's too early for any other tight ends.
Yeah, and we're not looking quarterback this early either. So you say every pick, but it's really just running back, wide receivers sitter. We're not taking a top end quarterback because we think there's too much value later on in the draft. Totally. And like you said, beyond Kelsey, we don't want to pay up that much at tight end. There are some other guys that we might get later. So Calvin Ridley there for Atlanta.
That one's really interesting to me.
Where do you think he goes if Julio leaves?
Oh, after that phone call, when Julio leaves, man, where do I think he's going to go? I think he's going to be. Where's he going now? What is he? Wide receiver 6 or something right now? 7?
He would be number 8 off of our board.
Number 8 off of here. Yeah, I could see him jumping like maybe Jefferson or Metcalf.
I think he would jump in front of Metcalf. That's what I think. I think he's right there.
Yeah.
As the number 6. Number 5, number 6.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I mean, I think once you start looking at those guys, I kind of see that as one tier in itself. I personally really like going Calvin Ridley here. I do like Gibson and DeAndre Swift, but Ridley has top 5 potential. I don't think that's a stretch at all for him to be a top 5 wide receiver. And you saw what he did last year. Even when Julio was hurt and the number 1 corner was on him, he had the one bad game against Green Bay, whose shadow corner followed. But besides that, I mean, he was still outstanding.
Yeah, and that is one of the best secondaries in the NFL was Green Bay last year. They were incredible.
And it's still underrated.
Yeah, I mean, no one talks about them. But they do. They have an incredible defense there. One of the reasons I like Aaron Jones so much this year.
Yeah.
And that's something both of us agree. Devontae Adams, I don't think he'd ever fall far enough if Aaron Rodgers is not there for me to grab him. I would still want Aaron Jones. Not as my running back 1, but the volume he's going to get.
Oh my goodness, yeah.
Is still incredible. And he is going to be valuable still because he is a good running back. And like I said, I think that means they're going to lean on that defense and lean on that running game a whole heck of a lot more. You're not throwing Jordan Love in there to immediately assume he can pass like Aaron Rodgers.
No way. No way. So what are you thinking here? Are you thinking about running back over wide receiver, or are you just looking at who's on the board? Talk us through it.
I'm looking at who's on the board. As you know, I prefer going running back. The drop off there is in the 3rd round for consistently paying off those top running backs. Obviously, there are guys who bust in the first 2 rounds at running back every year, injuries, whatnot. But the percentage of busts really comes after that 3rd round. So we do have a short turnaround
Yep.
Everyone who's going between us now and when we get back around has a running back already.
They've all got running backs, stud running backs. So yeah.
And
then I'm playing a little bit of the ADP game down there too. I see Najee, who's on my list. You know the volume is there, the talent is there. The O-line's not as good. We talked about him a few weeks ago. But what's his ADP right now? 33? Yeah, I mean, unless somebody really reaches for him, he could definitely be there for our third pick, which I personally love it as a either flex or even an RB2. That's a great value to me.
Yeah, the running back that sticks out here to me the most is Antonio Gibson. But just like you're talking about, DeAndre Swift, Kyler Edwards-Helaire, Miles Sanders, even J.K. Dobbins, I'm not the biggest fan of these guys. I'm really not.
I don't love that group either. I think Gibson does stand out a little bit more.
For sure.
So, yeah, I mean, the pick is definitely between Gibson and Ridley. You know, I think either one is going to be a great asset to our team. So I will defer, and I will let you make the executive decision, and I get the next one.
So I'm going to bring up one other name because you did.
Let's do it.
We when it comes to wide receiver, we really only mentioned Calvin Ridley.
Sure.
Both of us are really high on Keenan Allen this year.
Yeah, I mean, I think that whole team is going to get a boost. I like Keenan a lot as well. Personally, for me, I have Calvin Ridley a tier higher, which is why I didn't bring him up. But I do love Keenan. I would love Keenan to be my he's a great wide receiver one as well. The targets are always there.
True. And George Kittle, I think
Kittle's too early.
Just too early?
For me, yeah. I think that there's still going to be a pretty big gap between Kelsey and Kittle.
I think so too because of now the wide receiver talent they have there. When Kittle went off, they really had no one else. Now you have Deebo Samuel coming back. You have Brandon Ayuk, who showed out as a rookie. You have there Trey Sermon as a running back, as well as Mostert there, Raheem Mostert. That defense is back healthy. We'll see how they stay healthy.
Even injured last year, they were still great. Sherman went down. Who was it? Bosa went down. I mean, they were still a top 10 defense.
They lost a ton of guys on offense and defense last year, and they already got injury issues starting this year. But I do like Mostert. I do like Sermon. We might see them later in this draft. I'm fine with doing Calvin Ridley there because I agree with you on Kittle. There is a difference there for them. Antonio Gibson, I like a lot, but because we have Alvin Kamara, a running back, both of us are pretty high on. And I agree with you. There's a drop off there. And quite frankly, in real drafts, I don't think we'll have the opportunity to draft Ridley here. So
I don't think so either. But it's nice to see how it looks, and you can do 1,000 iterations of this and just see which one you like more. That's the great thing about mock drafts. You get to experiment a little bit.
For sure.
Oh, there goes Mahomes.
There goes Mahomes.
End of the second.
And we only had Gibson leave, so we have our pick. This is just like we were talking about. Why we want Ridley early? Because all these guys had running backs. None of them had picked a wide receiver, which makes sense. The top three picks were going to be running back. But still, we had 4 wide receivers go, only 1 running back, and you had the quarterback, Patrick Mahomes, go there. So we're sitting here early third pick.
Yes, sir.
We got a long way before our next one. And we've got a pick of a lot of different wide running backs here. We have George Kittle still there. I still don't think I'm going George Kittle.
Yeah. I think he's going to get drafted at the end of this round or maybe super early 4th, but for me, it's too early. There's still a good group of running backs here that we're not going to get the option to pick from by our 4th round pick. I'm looking at running backs and wide receivers, but obviously, like we talked about, there are going to be a lot of running backs taken. So like we talked about, Najee's there. I love him as a running back too. That's kind of who I'm thinking right now. And then I'm looking at wide receivers down there too. Mike Evans is interesting. Julio is super interesting. There's so much speculation on where he's going to go. So there's just a little bit more risk there. But
yeah, there's a lot of risk there because I don't know where he goes, where he's better than if he stayed at Atlanta.
Exactly. Yeah.
And especially because we also have Calvin Ridley. We already have Calvin Ridley. I don't want that stack.
Right. I would definitely not want I wouldn't even consider Julio if they were on the same. If they were for sure both on Atlanta.
Going to be on the same team. I understand what you're saying. I see what you're
Right.
saying. As different teams, who cares? But I don't want Julio there with my third because I don't see him going to a team where he's going to be as high. I think most likely the two teams right now, it looks like the Tennessee Titans or the Patriots. There's some other guys that are in there that it could be.
Patriots desperately need help at wide receiver.
They do. They've already paid a lot in the offseason for kind of some questionable talent. Kendrick Bourne.
Some decent 2s and 3s.
Right. That's exactly
solid
what I said.
2s and 3s.
Yeah. They got Nelson Aguilar going in there. They paid up for tight ends. They have 2 good tight ends there, Jonnu Smith as well as Hunter Henry.
Yeah.
So we'll see what Cam Newton does there. We'll see if Mac Jones takes the next step there.
Yes, sir.
But I don't think that team right now, I'm not going to trust Julio on that team because I just still don't think it's going to be a very pass-heavy team and certainly not a deep pass-heavy. And then if he went to the Titans, while I think the value of the passes he would get would be higher than if he was with the Patriots, I still don't think he'd have that much. He'd be competing there with A.J. Brown. And still, that offense goes through Derrick Henry. And I don't think that would
absolutely.
change.
That is his offense. Totally. Exactly.
So Mike Evans I like, and Chris Godwin, but that's the exact problem with picking either one is the other one's right there too. But you were picking one of those guys, hoping they returns the value of that pick, and hoping the other one doesn't. And that's I don't know if I want to get in that lottery.
And like we talked about in our meeting session, there's another Tampa Bay Buccaneer that I think is a pretty solid value pick on here that is not on our screen yet a few rounds later. So I'm personally, especially with our third pick, knowing what the running back position looks like, I'm perfectly happy to wait at wide receiver. We already got our stud. I'm personally leaning running back. And there's certainly a lot. I mean, just looking at those names at wide receiver, there's so many guys that are so interesting and great values further down. So
the only name I'm going to bring up, and I'm not picking him because we already got Calvin Ridley.
Sure.
But if I was sitting here trying to pick my first wide receiver off the board of this group, I'd be going to Amari Cooper. Dak Prescott's back. That offense is back. They have a tough start to the schedule, which I don't really like.
Tampa Bay Thursday night. That's pretty much as tough as you can start off.
Yep. They don't have a great start, as we talked about in our episode breaking down how the draft affects who we pick where. But of these guys, I think Amari Cooper has the most obvious upside.
Yeah, totally.
Would be the way I would say it. I'm not worried about someone else there taking his stuff. He's going to be
targets.
CeeDee Lamb.
CeeDee's not there yet.
First. CeeDee will be out of the slot. I think Amari Cooper and Dak have a real great relationship there, and that wouldn't change.
Absolutely.
Now going to running back because we will go running back here with this pick. Clyde Edwards-Helaire has a little bit of a committee there, not as much as he had last year.
Exactly. That's exactly what I was going to say.
So leaning him for Kansas City, that's not a bad pick to me. DeAndre Swift, I'm not a fan of going Detroit, quite frankly. They have some other guys there in that running back room.
New quarterback. There's question marks there.
Yeah, and I still just don't project them to have that great of a year, especially with the loss of Kenny Golladay. It'd be different.
I'm stacking that box.
Different if their defense was really good or something, and I was like, they're going to have to run this team through the running back position. Like, that's going to be the style of play because they don't have the wide receiver core anymore. But it's not like they have a great it's not like they have that great of a defense.
Right.
So
no, that is bottom 5.
So I'm not touching DeAndre Swift there because I don't think the value is going to be there. Miles Sanders scares me because in the 5th round, the Eagles drafted a running back who is arguably the best pure pass-catching running back.
Right.
And that was what Miles Sanders had a real problem with last year. He had a real problem with drops. And that's a team that I don't think is going to be incredible this coming year. Like, I don't think they're going to score enough touchdowns, and we might have lost Gary.
I'm here. My video is
here.
cutting out, but keep going.
Your video cut out. Okay, but you can still hear me. Great.
Yep.
That's a team that I don't think is going to. And I know I'm going long on these early picks, but I think that's because later on in the draft we won't have as much. We won't have as much to say. But Miles Sanders, because I don't think that team's going to be in scoring position. He needs to have the pass catching to really return value here in the third round.
Exactly.
Like I said, they went out and drafted someone who will get some passing. You know, the fifth round, it's not like he was a first round pick, but still, you went out and got a pass catcher. So, J.K. Dobbins, I like a lot here as well. J.K. Dobbins, Najee Harris, and Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Those are the three I'm really looking at. Chris Carson is very consistent, but I don't feel that risk averse at this pick, so I do kind of want more upside than Chris Carson allows. So I'm looking at Najee, Dobbins, and Clyde Edwards-Helaire. I'm going to let you pick, Gary, between those three.
Ooh, I get it. Thank you for the gift. You know, I'm not as high on DeAndre Swift personally, just for the reasons you mentioned. Detroit, I don't love the situation. Honestly, let's get the rookie. Let's get Harris.
Let's go with Najee Harris. All right.
Let's do it. Let me get all those. You know for a fact he's going to get all the touches in the world, and I'm ultra interested in that. Yes.
Yep. And we do like the way they start their season.
Oh my goodness, it is so fantasy friendly.
So.
Let's do it, baby.
Clicked it there. There we went. Najee Harris. Right after us went George Kittle, which his ADP was 24, so he had already kind of dropped in our draft.
He had. I mean, that's what we were saying. There's no way he's going to get out of the third round, but that just feels a little early to me.
Yeah, I agree because of the other, like we said, the other mouths to feed now in that offense.
Totally.
All right, after that went Dobbins, David Montgomery, Mike Evans, Miles Sanders, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Julio Jones, DeAndre Swift, Chris Carson. I'm not going to read through all the rest of these names. We had one more tight end with Darren Waller go off the board.
Yep.
Amari Cooper went off the board. Myles Gaskin, that's early for Myles Gaskin to me because you went out and you got Malcolm Brown, you've got Jordan Howard. You have, like, I understand Myles Gaskin turned out to be the guy there last year, but that was partially due to injury. I don't trust because they haven't paid him. They have no
right. Yeah, you got to follow the money.
No reason. Yeah. They have no reason to solely rely on Myles Gaskin this coming year. And Malcolm Brown was involved in the Rams offense till he got injured. So I would rather grab other pieces to that, and definitely I wouldn't be picking him over Josh Jacobs.
No way. Oh man, I was really hoping Josh Jacobs would have fallen to us. That would have been pretty hard to not pick as our flex. Jacobs.
As our flex, and he has other people there as well to compete with now.
Yeah, Kenyon Drake's there now, but
right. But
I'm not ultra concerned with Kenyon Drake. For our flex, let me get some Josh Jacobs. That would have been awesome.
I agree with that for the flex position.
Totally.
So all right, let's see. Looking at flex, Kenny Galladay's there. You and I have kind of differing opinions on him. I know. I think you trust the talent to win out.
Sure. Daniel Jones, man, that's tough. He gets so much of his fantasy value. He's surprisingly mobile.
Right. He
doesn't do it all through the air.
If he doesn't fumble, you're correct that he is mobile for a quarterback. He's going into an offense that has other guys there who I think will still demand some. Sterling Shepard.
Evan Ingram's still there, healthy.
Evan Ingram, Saquon Barkley's going to get his.
Oh yeah.
I just
team's loaded.
Right.
On paper.
Next, CeeDee Lamb. Again, I think Amari Cooper is going to be the number one there. So
absolutely, I do as well.
He's going a little high for me. DJ Moore makes sense with the loss of Curtis Samuel there. Obviously, you still have Robbie Anderson there. And it also depends on what you think about Sam Darnold. but I don't hate him as our number 2 right there. I don't need to go running back here. I really don't. But
Right.
Kareem Hunt is just screaming at me.
I was looking at that too. Playing the ADP game, he should be there for a quick turnaround. But that's kind of what we need to think about. We've got 2 quick picks, and then we play the waiting game again.
So here's the thing with Kareem Hunt. You're right that because of his ADP, average ADP at 50, he probably should be there for our next pick. He's the top running back left.
Right.
And
we saw last year, even with Chubb, that was a big concern. All the touches going to Chubb. They proved last year they can both be great fantasy options.
Absolutely. They both had plenty of fantasy value there. And the next 2 teams after us have now 2 wide receivers and only 1 running back. So I think he's gone. So that's why
That's a great point. That is a great point. Always be aware of what the other teams have and what they need.
Right.
Because a lot of times people will start really, really reaching for players because they have a shortage of, running backs or wide receivers. I mean, you look at Team 1, they don't have a wide receiver yet. I would be willing to bet that's probably what they're going to pick next. Whereas then you look at, some of the other teams on here that started off wide receiver, Team 7. You look at that, David Montgomery went with their 3rd pick. It totally makes sense. So definitely great point. Always be aware of what your opponents have and what their needs are, because that will really help you out with your draft.
So of these wide receivers here, I would be looking at DJ Moore. I'd be looking at Cooper Kupp. I'd really be looking at Tyler Lockett.
I was going to say I like Tyler Lockett a lot there. But now, man, you actually, I was thinking I was a little more. I was really happy with their running backs. I was kind of thinking, let me look at wide receiver first. But man, I don't know if I can pass Kareem Hunt up. I love the depth at running back.
Exactly. I don't think I can either. So I'm going Kareem Hunt here. I'm making that call because I don't think he would have come back to us.
Yep.
And we're seeing guys go.
Just like we mentioned, there goes CD and there goes Deontay Johnson to Team 1, which we knew they were going to do that. They don't have a wide receiver yet. Totally makes sense.
Right. Definitely Team 1 needed some wide receiver depth there. We saw Team 3 take a running back, Melvin Gordon, who was ranked even lower than Kareem Hunt.
My goodness, that is night and day for me. I'm so thrilled with getting Kareem Hunt over Melvin Gordon. That just feels like such a big win.
And Tyler Lockett's still there. Mark Andrews is there as well.
That is interesting. And that's the great thing about mocks as well. This is when you can start thinking about if this is a real situation. Try it a few different ways, right? Do one where you go tight end, do one where you go wide receiver, see how it looks. In this particular case, so we've got, right now, as a reminder, we have 3 running backs, Kamara, Najee Harris, and Kareem.
Mm-hmm.
We have Calvin Ridley. We do not have a wide receiver 2 or a tight end yet. Are there any tight ends that are really jumping out at you right now that you would want to kind of deviate from our weight strategy and really go after early?
I'm happy you asked me that, and the answer is no. Mark Andrews will be the number 1 option there, most likely, still for Baltimore. But they did go out and do everything they could to get a wide receiver core. They did everything they could. They went and paid for Sammy Watkins. They went out and drafted Rashad Bateman.
Yep.
I don't want Mark Andrews. Let me rephrase that. I have no problem with Mark Andrews. I don't want to draft him here when I could get Tyler Lockett.
Totally
when
agree.
I could get Tyler Lockett. I don't care about that. TJ Hawkinson, I understand where everyone's coming from, thinking that he will be the guy for Goff, who we've seen absolutely love his tight end. And they have, plenty of. They don't have really many other options there to throw to. It's going to be
right. The targets will be there.
But again, we don't expect that team to score a whole heck of a lot.
No.
So I'm going to take Tyler Lockett on an offense that we project to score more. And he's working with Russell Wilson, who we definitely trust more. I'm going Tyler Lockett.
Give me that.
There.
I love it.
Then went off Lamar Jackson. We didn't even think about Lamar Jackson there.
No. We didn't.
Quite frankly, never would.
Yeah, no. The mobility is great, but I don't trust him as much through the air. I actually would have preferred Kyler over Lamar, but I still wasn't thinking about taking a quarterback at that 5th pick.
No, I agree. I wasn't planning on taking one there, even though I want to say that's actually pretty low for Lamar to fall.
Are you able to see his ADP?
Let me see. I believe if I click on him here. Nope. Show player card. Here we go.
Player card.
It does not show me ADP.
Okay, cool. No worries. Yeah, he's probably not going too far away from middle 5th. I was just curious if it was up. But yeah, you can start to see a few other quarterbacks are going there. There's Dak, a bunch of those kind of mobile guys.
So I won't lie to you here. There is someone that I would take. I'm not sure. I don't think I would take him here, but I think if he gets around to our 7th, Russell Wilson and having the Lockett-Wilson stack.
I love that stack.
I really enjoy that stack. And because we have our 3, our 3 running backs here, we have 2 lockdown great wide receivers. I don't even really hate reaching for him here. Like, if that was something you wanted to try, we could try it. Or we can play you know what? I do want to wait because we've got Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes here as team 2 and team 1. Right. So we know they're not going to take a quarterback. The top quarterback projected is Aaron Rodgers by ADP.
Yep.
So I'm fine waiting on that. Let's try to wait and see if we can play that ball game, and hopefully it comes out the way we want. But
totally
that's definitely someone I'm looking at with the 7-4 is grabbing Russell Wilson there and having the stack. Stacks are great in fantasy.
Stacks are fun.
Stacks work incredibly well. If you get the right one. I mean, if you had the Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs stack last year, congratulations.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah.
Congratulations.
Great job with your championship.
Yeah. You really had to have had problems at your other positions to not end the year very successful, very happy.
Yeah.
So, all right, flex. We have James Robinson there. I'm surprised. He's still going this high with Travis Etienne. I understand that Urban Meyer has said some crazy loony things, and after taking Travis Etienne in the first round,
right,
it seems loonier still. It seems crazier still. I mean, I would like James Robinson if he fell later, but because I'm going to trust that you didn't grab a first-round running back not to use the crap out of him as a running back.
Right, even exactly. That's what you drafted him for.
Yeah, and if he did make that mistake, then it won't be a mistake for long. He's not going to have that job for
exactly.
long.
Yeah, he'll be out.
That questionable calls.
Right.
So, Damian Harris, again, I think James White's still going to eat into the passing there. Cortland Sutton, I like a lot there at Denver coming off injury.
Yep, I think a lot of people kind of forget about him. He's not the sexy Jerry Jeudy name, right? I mean, we're still waiting to see if Rodgers goes there. A lot of people are still saying, that might be a realistic landing place for him. Even if he's not there, though, I think the talent is just insane. And if we were to draft, I mean, regardless, we draft a running back or a wide receiver, that's first bench spot, right? So we don't technically need immediate production from them, but Sutton coming off the bench is still pretty nice.
Sutton coming off the bench is nice. I honestly like the upside of DJ Chark more.
Yeah.
Talking about our bench.
Right.
That means I don't have to worry about Trevor Lawrence coming in and being a rock star week 1.
Oh, yeah.
Because I do feel comfortable starting the other, starting Kareem Hunt at flex. Najee Harris has that job day 1. That's
totally,
just the way it is. Where you drafted him. We've seen the Steelers do this. Najee Harris is going to start week 1. So I can play all 3 of our running backs. I can put in Calvin Ridley, Tyler Lockett week 1 and be happy as can be. So DJ Chark there is really interesting because if I can give Trevor Lawrence time, I think him and Chark could be great together. Top tight end off the board would be Noah Fant. Again, Denver is interesting to us because of how well their schedule starts off for them. I don't think either of us believe that Drew Lock's the second coming or anything like that.
Right.
We both, I think, feel that that's a fight for a mediocre quarterback of the year award between him and the other QB that they've got there. I don't really care because the rest of the offense looks good and they should have opportunity. I like Mike Davis a lot, and if we didn't have 3 running backs, I would have said his name immediately. He would have been the only name I brought up. I would have just been like, yeah, and Mike Davis, because he has that job all to himself right now in Atlanta, and that is a valuable spot because that offense scores a lot. So he will have an opportunity for touchdowns there. I'm looking at this
that defense is still trash. Man, and the other thing I'm thinking about here too is there's actually 2 quarterbacks. I do like Mike Davis. He's probably what's jumping out at me right now. I like Sutton. I like Chark. I don't necessarily love either of them. There's still a lot of value. There's still a lot of names. Hell, Will Fuller's there. Like, there's some guys that I'm interested in. I don't necessarily love any of them. What about at quarterback? Who's left?
We already looked at that. It's Aaron Rodgers and Russell Wilson. We're still on that pick. It's been 7 minutes, and we're still trying to figure this spot out, which is why you really need to go in with kind of game plan. Exactly. You need to have the mock because I want to think this out now, not when I'm on the clock in an actual draft. Who do I grab at this spot? I congratulations to us. I've got running backs that I feel comfortable with. Congratulations to us. I've got wide receivers that I feel comfortable with. Noah Fant feels like a touch of a reach because now if Cortland Sutton's healthy there, if Jerry Jeudy's there,
there's
I don't know how much. That's a lot of mouths to feed for a mediocre quarterback and a better defense. Hopefully, Von Miller's back, and then, like you said, I like the upside chance of Chark, but I Mike Davis is sticking out to me. Mike Davis has that job. He's a bell cow situation. You just don't see enough of him. Even though we already have 3, because this is a bench spot, like, for any reason, if there's a problem with one of our other guys, plugging in
got that depth.
Feels so amazing.
That feels
great. If not, we wait 3 weeks, and if it turns out we're one of the lucky ones who doesn't have running back problems with one of our top guys, we can demand anything we want for Mike Davis.
Absolutely.
From a guy who loses out. Like team 2 and team 3. Christian McCaffrey, Derrick Henry.
Yeah.
Christian McCaffrey, we've already seen, like, he's coming off an injury.
Right.
Derrick Henry is at the ripe old age of 27 and has just come off 2 seasons back-to-back rushing leader. I'm not trying to put a curse on Derrick Henry, but I am truly.
Yeah, please don't.
I love Derrick Henry's situation. I love the start of their season. I love how they've worked with the O-line. I couldn't be more of a Derrick Henry fan, and I am still absolutely terrified of Derrick Henry. I could never grab Derrick Henry and then go wide receiver like they have, and then be stuck in the mouth.
No way. That feels terrible.
So both of those teams I just got immediately and go, if you are wrong on your first pick, I'm gonna get Keenan Allen. I'm gonna trade Mike Davis for Keenan Allen 2 weeks in if Christian McCaffrey goes down, or Terry McLaurin there. And team 3, we're gonna have 2-3 weeks to see if Kenny Galladay's the guy, and then we can trade for him if we really want, or go get Allen Robinson. So I'm doing it. I'm pulling the trigger, even though we already have 3 running backs. I'm grabbing.
Let's get that depth. Yeah, I mean, there's tons of wide receivers that we can still find that are values. I love it. And there go other running backs, just like we thought.
And there goes Juju Smith-Schuster and Chark. So those are
Chark.
2. Oh man, we lost the lottery. We lost it. Russell Wilson with the pick before. That's so brutal.
That hurt.
So,
but I'm still happy we got Mike Davis. I'm still happy with that.
I'm happy with it too. I wouldn't have changed anything.
Right. I wouldn't either. I'm happy with that. And if you would have wanted to change something, then now you know for next mock draft. That's why we do these. See what happens.
You're right. And I think that's exactly what I have to look back at this. See, because I think I would have been okay with Javonte Williams, the rookie for Denver.
Yeah. Yep.
On my bench and with Russell Wilson.
Right.
So maybe next time I need a mock and see if I really like my team as much at the end of this, because I am sure already I'm going to love our running back group. But that was surprising there to me for sure. So Cortland Sutton's still sitting there, and at this point, I want him.
I really want him here. Yep.
I'm looking at the other names. I like Deebo Samuel because we already have 2 starters. Yep. I like Robbie Anderson just because I think he's very, very talented.
You know who I love on that list, it was just a couple spots below, is Brandon Cooks as well. I hope he can fall. Oh.
So here's the thing. The quarterback position there scares me because Deshaun Watson still stays with the Texans, which is a chance. That's probably the best. That's the best option for Cooks.
Yeah, of course.
But he's going to get suspended. Like there's no way he doesn't get suspended for at least a few weeks, Deshaun Watson. So
sure, and that's a really good point, and probably something that you haven't heard a lot of news about yet. So it might not be in the forefront of everybody's mind. But the beautiful thing about that is, fine, let him be suspended. I'm probably not benching Ridley or Lockett in the first month of the season. Like, something would have to drastically happen, which is why I'm kind of okay with waiting to really get any production off my bench. I mean, of course, injuries happen, and that's a pain in the ass, but it's not as immediate of a concern for me. But like you mentioned, Sutton's still there. Fuller's an interesting pick. Deebo, there's value right around here.
Yeah, if Brandon Cooks makes it back around to our 8-9, I don't hate that there. But I'm just saying, because I don't think enough people I don't think it's discussed enough. And
it hasn't been at all.
And if you don't think it's going to happen, Ezekiel Elliott was never charged.
Right.
Ezekiel Elliott was never charged with anything, and he got suspended. They're going to suspend Watson because this looks awful on the league as a whole.
Yeah, exactly.
This is the exact kind of drama they hate. So I'm going Cortland Sutton here.
Do it.
The quarterback that's on the top of the list is Aaron Rodgers. I'm fine waiting on someone else later in the draft.
I'm looking at Brady, man. Golly, the way he turned it on at the end, all the weapons in the world. They signed AB again. I mean, that team is just loaded.
Yeah, and because we don't have a stack there, if I had Devontae Adams, maybe I'd go Aaron Rodgers there. If I knew he was going to be there, to go for the stack, because again, I value the stack. I value the stack for sure. Right. But I'm going Cortland Sutton here. That's what
perfect. Awesome.
So here we are. We're coming around to our 8th pick. I love the depth at the most important positions that we have.
Right.
Now, I'm sorry to tell you, Brady went, Rodgers went, Herbert went.
I love
Herbert. Hurts is gone. Burrow is gone. So we lost a lot of that young talent there.
Right. There's the run. Yep.
We had the run. 5 there go. 5 there go.
5 quarterbacks.
Yeah, 5 there go. There she blows.
And you're not even drinking.
No, unfortunately not. Though this bar background is giving me a buzz. That's what's happening.
There you go.
But 5 out of the 12 picks were in fact quarterback. 2 were tight end.
Yeah.
Logan Thomas.
Logan Thomas, interesting.
Williams went there.
Yep.
He was a name I brought up earlier as a running back. I was interested to see where he went. Raheem Mostert went earlier as well, but I'm okay with that.
Yep.
So let's look at what we've got. Brandon Cooks is still there. So that is
interesting.
James Conner's there for Arizona. His injury past makes me a little hesitant to go him, along with the fact that we've just seen it be a tough position, a tough spot to figure out who's going to be the valuable running back. Arizona.
Yeah, exactly.
Because everyone was sure it was Kenyon Drake last year. Everyone
Right.
was sure going into last year it would be Kenyon Drake, and it really wasn't. It was Chase Edmonds.
There was an Edmonds show multiple times. There was some deceit from the coaching staff, some misleading information a couple times.
Yeah. Cliff and Sean McVay have learned from the school of Pete Carroll when it comes to lying. And they lie consistently, emphatically. And that's the other thing about ETN, why I'm pretty fine driving ETN and don't want to grab James Robinson as early as he's going, is because I think Urban Meyer also learned from them. Urban Meyer was a liar in college.
Yeah, I think that skill translates.
Yeah, so that's why I'm not too scared of grabbing ETN, and why I'm very hesitant to grab James Robinson, because I don't think you make that move and don't successfully use him. And if I'm wrong, congrats, James Robinson. You've got him for a year. Like,
have fun.
Yeah, it's still. Then I think Urban Meyer he'll last a year. They'll give him a year, but he's not there very long.
Right.
So Brandon Cooks is there. Jamar Chase is there. We've talked about this before. We're not assuming that rookie wide receivers are going to be great just because the rookie wide receivers looked really good last year. That was
That's totally an outlier.
Kyle Pitts.
That is really who I was staring at.
Yep. I'm staring at him. Gesicki's there. Robert Tonyan's there. That's nowhere close to Pitts to me.
That's not even close.
Jarvis Landry, no. Devin Singletary, no. I'm not going to pretend. We're going Kyle Pitts here.
Let's do that. I kind of want to see what that looks like. I mean, he has so much upside. He's graded as what most elite, like the elite tight end since Gonzalez or somebody. Like, he's just testing off the charts. Super interesting name. Again, we think Julio's going to leave, so we will have 2 Atlanta Falcons on our team.
I was about to say.
That actually doesn't bother me too much, because that defense is still going to be bottom 5 for sure, bottom 10. You're going to have to score a ton. The targets that when Julio leaves, the targets are just, I mean, there's going to be so many up for grabs.
But see, here's the thing, Gary. It's not our second Atlanta Falcon. It's our third. Mike Davis.
You're right. It's our third. We will be Atlanta Falcon fans this year. With this draft pick.
And here's the other thing. And this is a bit of a meta thing. This is not the draft. In the draft, I would grab Kyle Pitts.
Sure.
This is because we're doing a podcast here and we want to put this on social media and we want it to look legitimate. If we take all 3 Atlanta Falcons, who are currently by ADP ranked too low because, as we know now, but the sleeper ADP hasn't caught up to yet, Julio Jones is going to be gone, most likely because of his comments, for sure.
That's right, yeah.
I think it just looks cheap. Like, You're
right.
Someone looks at our mock and immediately goes, well, yeah, you grabbed every Atlanta Falcon because they're ranked too low because of Julio Jones. Like,
sure, let's take the high road.
I'm gonna say let's play this. Let's play our cards as if Kyle Pitts was gone, because he will be.
Yeah, there's no way he's making it to the, what are we at, the eighth round? Yeah,
8th round.
I love Brandon Cooks there anyway. I'm thrilled with that.
Yeah, and none of these quarterbacks stick out as an immediate grab for me. Yeah. So I'm grabbing Brandon Cooks here for those reasons. If Kyle Pitts is in the 8th round of your draft, grab him at home.
And there he goes.
There he goes. Kyle Pitts, Robert Tonyan, Gesicki there. Again, I think we only really cared about Kyle Pitts of that group. Mike Gesicki is interesting.
He is pretty interesting. Miami is probably a team I'm a little higher on than you. I believe in them. Let's do a quick recap. So we've got, with our first pick, Alvin Kamara, Calvin Ridley, Najee Harris, Kareem Hunt as our flex, Tyler Lockett as our wide receiver 2, which I love. Mike Davis starting in Atlanta. Courtland Sutton, Brandon Cooks, both on the bench. 4-4 split for wide receiver, running back. We don't have a quarterback or a tight end yet. I personally love how this team looks so far.
I love how this team looks as well. I love the depth we have at the positions we have to play the most.
Yep. Where we know injuries always happen.
Right. We are taking a later quarterback, which beyond Russell Wilson, I'm perfectly happy with doing. I'm happy with doing a general draft anyways.
Right.
I love our team. I love our team. We have upside with Najee Harris, the rookie running back. We have upside with what Courtland Sutton does coming back. Brandon Cooks, what he could be valued at if Deshaun Watson is there for most of the season.
Yep.
Calvin Ridley has all the upside in the world, obviously, with no Julio. So we're actually going to take a pause right now and run one of our lovely advertisements. So we'll be right back to this draft. I'm pausing this draft right now. Brent, do you have our lovely producer? Do you have our
advertisement, please?
Our advertisement.
I put it in the chat.
Oh.
Check the Skype chat. There's a file in there.
Okay, we're popping this up right now. Gary, do you see it?
I do not yet.
I have it.
Chat.
I think it's a single person one.
Yeah, Jay, this one's all you.
Life is dull. This podcast was so boring, even I would fall asleep. When I would go to the store, I'd grab myself a McCaffrey, the energy drink of the old-fashioned fantasy football podcast. McCaffrey has more energy and power running through its veins. This podcast improved Gary's energy 2,000%. McCaffrey has 2 flavors, RB or Panthers. Hurry to your local store and run through the line. I like it.
Not
McCaffrey. Bad. Go get yourself some McCaffrey. I am an energy drink fanatic. I would drink the heck out of some McCaffrey. Absolutely drink the heck out of it. All right. So, back to our draft. We're sitting here at our 9th pick in the draft.
Now, let me ask you a question, Jay.
Let me hear it.
Are you feeling any pressure at this point to find that tight end and to find that quarterback? Because depth is great, but we need to play each position. What are you thinking here?
I'm not feeling any pressure at the tight end because I like a lot of the guys that are left. I think they're all in the same rank for me, which is absolute hit or miss lottery ticket.
Yep.
Irv Smith, I like a lot. I have no problem going Higbee. Jonnu Smith, Hunter Henry. I prefer Hunter Henry over Jonnu Smith, but it's a total guess who actually is valuable there, if either is in New England.
Yeah, I really like Ingram if he can stay on the field. Man, he was another tight end who was graded super highly a few years back when he was drafted. And, man, he's just – I mean, the Giants haven't been that fantasy-friendly over the last few years, as obviously our listeners know. But, man, if that guy can stay healthy, he's a great talent. So that's another interesting name.
For sure. And plus with Kenny Golladay out there, he's not going to get the coverage that he has been getting. Even though he was a tight end, he was very well known as the number 2 receiving option there. Not counting Saquon.
Right.
Gronkowski obviously has plenty of upside there. Blake Jarwin, I like a lot from Dallas.
Yep.
Again, because of that, Eric Ebron in Pittsburgh, I don't hate. Jared Cook with the Chargers, sure. There's a lot of guys there that are okay to me, so that I feel fine walking away with. So I'm not too worried about that immediately.
Totally.
When we go to quarterback.
Hey, look, another Atlanta Falcon.
Yeah.
What kind of stack is that if we had drafted Pitts? We take the quarterback, wide receiver 1, tight end.
Congratulations, we're Atlanta fans. We're We're going to watch every Atlanta game with fan jerseys on.
Religiously.
Yep. Which I think that is an interesting situation because assuming Pitts was there,
right?
Would you have hated that being our third?
No.
And here's the other question. Would you have still been okay drafting Matt Ryan?
Because there's only a handful of teams, honestly, I would feel comfortable with that. And since Atlanta, I'm still not confident in their defense. I think even if they're getting blown out like they were in many games last year, those guys are talented enough to have one big play save their day, and they can therefore save Matt Ryan a little bit more. Matt Ryan. So honestly, as weird as it is, like if Atlanta has a trash day, you're done, right? But honestly, just because of how often they're going to need to score, I don't hate it.
No, I don't think if they have a bad day, it's going to be tough.
It's going to be very tough.
I have a lot of faith in the other guys we have that on our team: Alvin Kamara, Najee Harris, Lockett. Those guys will all be starters, and those guys can carry a workload. Alvin Kamara has won people weeks. Championships. That just happens. Absolutely. So if we happen to have a bad week with everyone else, but he gets 40 points, 35 points, whatever.
Yeah.
Now,
and we're probably not even going to be starting Mike Davis. That would just be an added little. if it's bye week hell, and you're in a pinch, then fine. But
that's a good point. He would probably be on our bench, depending on the matchup.
Right.
Because again, he's a talented enough running back that I don't have a problem putting him in a lineup. Now, I wouldn't have no problem getting Pitts.
Yep.
I would have a problem going Matt Ryan. And the reason is, as I've talked to you about, but I haven't talked about yet on the show, the new offensive coordinator, the new head coach.
True. He does struggle in new systems year one.
Exactly. Matt Ryan has trouble usually in a new system year one. So while I don't care when it comes to his weapons, because I still think they'll get enough volume,
right,
that they're all going to be very, very valuable. I don't necessarily love the idea of getting him.
Right.
So that would be the one thing. And I wanted to pose that question to you because I think any other year, if I probably would feel fine grabbing him as well. But because of the situation with the new offensive coordinator, the new head coach, I would avoid it this year.
Yeah. Well said.
Now, quarterbacks on the board: Matt Stafford, Ryan Tannehill, Matt Ryan, like we just discussed. Those are the guys that really stick out to me. Daniel Jones, if we want to go later down, but Trevor Lawrence might become valuable, but I'm not grabbing him immediately.
But you get the guys where we don't even know if Winston's going to start or what that looks like. I mean, some rookies that might not start.
Right. Someone that's not here. I'm still scrolling, looking for his name. Did he get? I don't think he got taken.
Who is it?
Where's Ryan Fitzpatrick?
He has not gotten taken.
Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Oh my goodness.
Is ranked 1,759. That guy, 100% is probably starting week one.
I would think so too.
And has been absolutely valuable at the quarterback position for fantasy because of the number of touchdowns he throws. And we don't care the number of interceptions. Minus 2 points for interceptions, plus 6 for touchdowns, not to mention the yardage. So again, am I willing to wait on quarterback? Yes.
Yeah, there's nobody that's jumping out.
Matt Stafford is an interesting spot, but at the same time, we haven't seen him deal with the new offensive scheme.
Yeah, Tannehill
he's had
feels
to deal
a little.
With a few, right?
Yeah, that's a good point. He has Tannehill. I think I'm leaning him a little higher over Stafford, and that's partially because I believe in the Titans don't have significant changes to their offense. If anything, they're a contender for Julio. But even if they don't get Julio, I still really, really like that offense. I mean,
good point.
A.J. Brown is that guy. I think he's easily has potential to be a top 5 wide receiver. The weapons there are still great. So Tannehill's an interesting one for me. Not that we need to pick a quarterback yet. We can still wait. I'm not in love with any of those options.
Looking at who's available.
Yep.
Jerry Jeudy's just sitting there. We have Courtland Sutton.
We have Sutton is the only thing. There's there's your guy. Another some running back depth with where'd he go? So Trey Sermon is there. That'd probably
Gus
be a reach.
Edwards.
Gus Edwards.
Nyheim Hines.
That's kind of interesting. He's been surprisingly consistent, hasn't he?
He has. He has definitely been surprisingly consistent. We're getting down to the picks that I'd rather do lottery style than consistency because we already have great. I have a lot of faith in the running backs we already have.
Right.
So if I'm going running back here, I'm going Trey Sermon.
I like it.
Who's way down the list.
He's pretty low, but
we're getting to the point where it's like grab a wide receiver or grab a quarterback, grab a tight end, grab a defense, grab a kicker. Like we're close to the end here. Let's see. We only have 3 bench spots left. We're
wow. Yeah, pick your guy at this point.
This is a pick your guy moment.
At this point, yeah, ADP really doesn't matter. If there's somebody you believe in, just grab them, or else somebody else will. There's one guy I believe in, Antonio Brown.
And I'm looking at him right now, and his ADP is slightly lower than Trey Sermon. So I am grabbing Trey Sermon here.
Yep.
I don't hate grabbing Devin Singletary.
I mean, he's the second and 2.5 best running back out there. Josh Allen's obviously the valuable one.
Yeah, you're right.
At quarterback, right? I don't know.
Right.
Zach Moss is still interesting.
Nyheim Hines has more consistent points. Nyheim Hines. You know what? I'm grabbing Nyheim Hines.
Half-point PPR. I mean, there's some upside there. He catches passes.
There's a little upside there. Something happens to Jonathan Taylor. Marlon Mack doesn't come back all the way. But you really don't ever have enough running back depth, and that's what switched my mind. Me realizing how greedy I sound saying.
Yeah.
How greedy I am saying that.
And that's where it gets tough too. I see Michael Carter. I see Sermon, AB. We only have 2 bench spots now. It's tough. Choices.
I liked hearing that from you. Ooh, Michael Carter. And here's the thing. So we're not going to get all of them because we only have 2 running back picks left. Beyond Trey Sermon and beyond Michael Carter, James White, because of how much better I think that team's going to be this year with that defense rebuilt, him and Nyheim Hines are almost identical to me, and James White's going a lot later. And this is why we mock. Again, this is exactly why we mock. So I can look at Nyheim Hines and go, you know what? I'd feel almost as good with James White, except I could grab other guys if there are other guys I want to grab.
Right.
Now we're grabbing Antonio Brown here. I'm going to make you happy.
Thank you.
And that is the key to making Gary happy is Antonio Brown that late.
Dude, once he got to Tampa, my goodness, I think his stats were something like 5 out of his last 6 games, including the Super Bowl, he scored a touchdown. So there was only 1 game in the last month and a half where he didn't score, but he still had 6 touchdowns in 6 games. He had a 2-touchdown game. The yards aren't always going to be there. They don't need to be there, though. I mean, Tom Brady's going to spread the ball around. And look, this is one of our last bench spots.
We have 1 bench spot left. I'm going to go ahead, instead of grabbing one of the bench guys that we're looking at. Well, here, I'll talk to you about this. We'll break this down.
Yep.
Michael Carter, who I think we both like, and we want the upside here. Nyheim Hines was as safe as you could go with a late pick.
Yeah.
Or do we want to go ahead and grab tight end? I'm going, you know what? I'm going running back. I'm going to go running back and risk it. We've had a lot of tight ends already go off the board. It does look like Sleeper Computer is going to have a few different guys going with 2 running backs or 2 tight ends.
Right. Yep.
So that could end up burning us, but I would rather risk it with getting Evan Ingram, Gronk, or Blake Jarwin. Those are the three that I'm looking at, really.
Right. Yep.
But I'm going to grab Michael Carter there.
Let's do it.
Because I want that
like
upside out. The other, I'm looking lower. Kenneth Gainwell's the name of the running back who I brought up earlier, who's the straight pass catcher that went to Philly. I'm just trying to look to see if there's any other running backs I really want to point out. I don't think there is. Malcolm Brown, we talked about him. Darrington Evans is that backup for Derrick Henry. Alvin Kamara doesn't really have a backup that I care about. And that would be
I was going to say, I would
want backup for someone.
If I had Derrick Henry, I would probably use my last pick just to secure that backfield, just in case. I mean, he's been healthy for the last 2 or 3 full seasons, but man, I really want to protect that
investment,
that backfield, that investment. Exactly.
Yep. And that's what we're saying with Kamara too. He's been very, very healthy. But yeah, I'm going Michael Carter here. We're going to get the guy who could easily have the job week 1 for the Jets. And we'll see what comes of him. So we've got 2 rookie running backs here and no rookie wide receivers. And that's not a mistake.
I'm happy with that.
Strange. That's the way you and I look at rookies. I understand that means we could miss out on Justin Jefferson, but that means for sure we'll also miss out on an N'Keal Harry. It means we'll miss out on Sammy Watkins, as we should. It means we'll miss out on the Marquise Brown. There's so many wide receivers that look like they're going to be all-stars when they get to the NFL and then just flop. They just don't make it for one reason or another.
Everybody looks good until stuff actually happens, and reality sets in.
Right, and there are running backs who do the same, but it's a lot easier to come in as a rookie running back compared to a wide receiver. I think we both agree. Depending on where you came from, you might not have the NFL route tree down. The Big 12 doesn't really do the route tree the way the NFL does. So there's reasons behind it, but rookie running backs, yes. Rookie wide receivers are almost always a no for you and I compared to their ADP. Especially with how crazy it was last year with them.
Whew. Yeah, seriously. That'll probably inflate some rookie wide receivers this year as well. And there go. Look at those tight ends going off the board.
I don't care. We still have Blake Jarwin, buddy.
Oh, yes.
Gronk went. Ingram went. Jonnu Smith went.
Austin Hooper went. Interesting.
But guess what? I've still got Blake Jarwin there.
Yes, there's our guy.
Real quick.
Perfect.
I'm happy as can be with that.
That's a win. Oh, there goes your boy James White.
That's okay. We got Michael Carter, who I would want more. But we would have needed Blake Jarwin there. I even with James White not on our team yet.
Right.
I would have gone Blake Jarwin there. So that worked out well.
Yeah.
Quarterback. Kirk Cousins has been good.
Cousins has been pretty good, man. I mean, you got him a new weapon.
Yeah, Cousins is going to throw for all the yards in the world on that team. Dalvin Cook, if Dalvin Cook's healthy, his ceiling's a little lower, but
I mean, he catches passes too, and then obviously Thielen is still, even though he's 31, I mean, the dude just lives in the end zone. And then Justin Jefferson, pretty solid too. Like, he's got all the talent in the world around him. Cousins is not a sexy name, but I actually kind of like him here.
I like him here, and here's the other thing: this is the last round. That's not defense kicker. We are at the last round.
Right. That's it.
Kirk Cousins is there, but so are all the rookies.
Yeah, exactly.
Fields is there. Tua is not a rookie, but Tua is there. You've got Trey Lance there. You've got Zach Wilson there. You have all the rookies there, and like we talked about, Ryan Fitzpatrick's going to start the season, and he's also there.
Right.
I don't want to draft a quarterback early unless I'm getting one of the top guys at just too good of a value or because of the stack. I'm waiting all day long because one of those rookies is going to come in and do well.
Oh yeah, somebody's going to hit. Exactly.
Someone's going to hit.
Then it's just a race to grab him.
Absolutely, and almost always, the younger guys nowadays are running quarterbacks. They have that
right,
ability to
super
run.
mobile.
They're mobile, and that's such a cheat code when it comes to quarterback here. Like Kirk Cousins is not especially mobile, but he's consistent and safe. And then we can go out and go crazy in the waiver wire later, knowing we have the safety of Kirk Cousins. That'll every week give us the 10th best.
Exactly.
You know? So grabbing Kirk there. That is the last of our picks that are going to matter. We're going to pick a random defense kicker when it comes back around to us. I don't care. And if you can convince your
stream
to go
them
without
anyway.
Defense kicker, you absolutely stream them. And if you can convince your league to get rid of defense and kicker, do it.
Props.
I'm jealous of you because I usually have a tough time convincing people not to grab defense kicker.
I'm not sure if you've been successful in that yet.
Not yet. It's gonna happen this year. I'm gonna start a league. I'm gonna become a commissioner of a league specifically so I can go. This league will not have defense and kicker. Now, because again we stream all of these, I like to do this flip recently. And Mox, tell me what you think about this. All these kickers at this point are the same to me, so I'm going to grab that top defense in Washington.
Right. Yep. Yeah, I would probably go defense over the kicker as well. I mean, some of those are just like Washington's D-line, Chase Young and all them. It's just nasty. They should score points. They'll get sacks, force turnovers. I like it.
Great. And again, I don't really care.
Right.
I can't stress.
I mean,
I don't care about this.
So there's so much. There's so many injuries and turnover, and just it's crazy as the season actually kicks off how injuries impact. How these defenses and kickers actually perform. So you just obviously the takeaway is just be prepared to pivot and move on when you see trends emerging and new defenses and new players just start to step up. So just be aware.
100%. So our draft is over, Gary. We have Alvin Kamara, Calvin Ridley, Najee Harris, Kareem Hunt, Tyler Lockett, Mike Davis, Cortland Sutton, Brandon Cooks, Nyheim Hines, Antonio Brown, Michael Carter, Blake Jarwin, Kirk Cousins, Washington football defense, and Bass at kicker from Buffalo.
Whew.
Looking at this draft, I love the quality of my running backs.
Love the depth of the running backs too.
I love the depth and the quality of the running backs, and I love the upside at wide receiver in Cortland Sutton, Brandon Cooks, and Antonio Brown. Like the upside of all three of those guys is top 15, top 15, top 10, top 12, right around there. For all three of those guys have the possibility of getting up there, depending on their situation. So
what my big issue is?
Let me hear it.
We just did not get nearly enough Atlanta players. This is just unacceptable.
You're right.
Oh my goodness.
We needed more.
Can we draft
Atlanta.
our coach or something?
Yeah, I apologize for not taking the Atlanta kicker out of solidarity to our game plan.
Young Ho would have been a great kicker for this year as well.
You know what? He was taken too early. We should have gotten the defense.
Could you imagine actually drafting the Atlanta defense? It's going to offset everything that Ridley does. Oh my goodness, he's going they're going negative now. But absolutely. I agree with you. I think that this draft actually looks great. I really like it. And on future drafts as well before the season, on future mocks that we do, we're definitely going to try out different strategies as well and just kind of compare back to this and see really how it looks, how we feel about it, and we'll make sure that everybody sees plenty of different situations and kind of knows a little bit more about what to expect.
Absolutely. And again, and this is what you do for mocks. You not only do it, but you analyze what happened and how it went. Looking back on it, I am pretty happy we didn't get Russell Wilson there because of the depth. Because of the depth at quarterback late.
Yeah, what is that, 5 or 6 rounds later?
Yeah, it's 6 rounds later getting Kirk Cousins, who is still a very consistent top 10 quarterback, and getting Cortland Sutton there, who easily could be, who will be the number 1 wide receiver there for Denver. The most likely possible spot for Aaron Rodgers if he leaves. All happy about it. All right. Great. Thank you guys for tuning in. That is the end of our episode today. Hope you all have an awesome night, and we'll see you guys next week.
Perfect. Peace.